Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. Today we are going to be doing an accessibility check on the website Linkfree, and Linkfree is a project on EdiHub. It's an open source project and it's an alternative to Linktree. I am actually one of the maintainers on the project, and I do quite often go in and do accessibility checking and then add extra issues, but I haven't done it for a while and things are always evolving and changing. People are adding new things all the time, making new pull requests. So it's important that you fairly regularly go in and do some accessibility checking on the sites that you are developing. And so I thought we'd take the chance today to have a look at Linkfree. All of the links will be in the description down below. So if you'd like to check it out, if you'd like to go and make any of the changes that I suggest in this video, or look through any of the other issues, do feel free to join in. And so I am going to start by doing an automatic check, and I have a plugin that is installed, an extension called Axe DevTools, and you can get it from the Chrome web store, and you find it in your developer tools under Axe DevTools. And I have the free version, so I can scan all of the page. I can't do the extra bits down here, but scanning all of the page is definitely a really useful way to start doing some testing. So if we give this a scan, and brilliant, we actually only have one issue on this page. That may not be the entire thing. This is, as I said before, it only checks automatic things that are such as color contrast and that kind of thing, which it can check automatically. There are certain things that are not possible to check automatically that you have to do manually. But this is saying certain area roles must contain particular children. So if we click on this, and we can highlight it, and we get a really nice pink purple ring around it saying that there's a problem with the menu bar. It's a critical impact. And if we scroll down a little bit more, we get some information that, how do we fix this? Required area children role is not present. So we have a role of menu bar on this menu or navigation, but it doesn't have a group, a menu item radio, a menu item, or a menu item checkbox as a child of this unordered list here. And therefore that's going to be confusing to screen reader users. Unfortunately, knowing how this project is built, I know it's built with Prime React components, and that means that it's not actually possible for us to go in and add the correct area child role onto these elements. When I looked earlier on today about Prime React and accessibility, they do now have a statement. In fact, I can bring it up. Let's have a look. Prime React. They have recently updated their accessibility statement. I'll search for it. And have quite a warning here saying that it is a major concern for them. And they have started a significant process to review and enhance the accessibility features of their components. Something that has been initiated in Q2 of 2022 and plans to be completed in early Q3. So let's hope that by the end of, say, September, is that Q3? I'm never too good on Q2, Q3 and all these quarters and things. Hopefully by the end of the year, Prime React will be a lot more accessible, but I will be keeping an eye on it and seeing how it does. But it's looking good anyway that that's the only issue on this page. If we quickly go back, we can see that we have got a main landmark, we've got a language on our HTML up here. We've got a H1 at the title. I should probably stop the highlights just to remove that. And we've got a footer at the bottom. So great start. Let's have a look then at keyboard accessibility. And to do that, I always like to start up in the URL, and I'm just going to tab backwards and forwards through this website and see what I land on. Okay, so the first thing I land on is the search bar. Ideally, this would also have a label so that I know exactly what happens when I click on it. But I can see down in the corner down here that it's telling me which link it's going to take me to. So it is actually a link and not a button, which is great. It's taking me to a new page. The next link is over here, and also you can see it's got a really good focus indicator, the one that's probably default with the browser. So that's also a good thing. I can see exactly where my cursor is. So this one's going to take us to GitHub. And the next link is over here, and actually this is a failure, and that is because the only thing distinguishing Eddie Jowd and the rest of the text is colour, and it's actually very difficult to see because this is a visited link and it's really similar in colour to the rest of the text. This one over here is a little bit easier to see because I haven't visited it, and therefore it's a lighter colour and stands out more. But we can open up our DevTools again, and just to prove a point, if we come down here into the rendering pane here, and we can scroll down to emulate vision deficiencies. If we turn this to achromatopsia, I think it's pronounced, and have a look, you cannot see any of those links on that page. You cannot tell the difference between see and Eddie or read and the instructions. You can't actually see the difference. You can't tell that any of those are links, and therefore they need some other way to distinguish them from the rest of the text. Either an underline, which is fairly common. If you don't want an underlined, maybe bold, but some other way to highlight that these are actually clickable links for people that can't rely on colour. So if we switch that back off again, we can get back to our page. Yes, let's just carry on with this. So we search and GitHub, Eddie Jowd's profile and the instructions, and then we jump to the link in the footer. That's great. The only other thing I want to check on this page, I'm going to inspect again, lots of inspecting. I want to have a quick look at this image, and you can see when I hover over it, the name is an example of a Linkfree app on ... If we actually click on it, we can see here we've got an alt text, and it's an example of the Linkfree app on Apple devices. So it's giving us a brief description of what the image is showing, and that's brilliant. So let's carry on. Let's close this for now. I'm going to search for a profile. In fact, we will inspect this page as well. It's always good to inspect every page. Let's have a see what happens here. Here we have 4 issues. Okay, so this first one is probably area commands must have an accessible name. That doesn't seem to be, I can't see what it's highlighting. If I scroll down, if I get rid of that. The P drop down trigger. Okay, so there is something wrong with the drop down here. Again, this is a Prime React component, so it probably is something to do with Prime React, and that they need to update their components so that they are actually fully accessible. And the second one, certain area roles must be contained on particular children. This is to do with the menu bar again. That's the same as we had on the first page. Form elements must have labels. This again is to do with our drop down. As you can see, it's got a role of text box, but an accessible text is empty. So this is not being explained what this actually is to anybody using a screen reader. And the page should contain a level 1 heading. This one, not so important. I think this is like a moderate, this is a moderate issue. So you don't have to have a level 1 heading, but it does help screen reader users to navigate around if necessary. So let's stop that highlight, and we will just check again that we can navigate around with the keyboard. Again to the arrow, then to the, I did that. Oh, I did. I just accidentally pressed it twice, so I jumped over. So the search user, you can see again it's got a focus indicator, which is brilliant. It doesn't have a label, which could be better. So let's see, we'll search for Eddie and we get automatically they appear. So I can continue tabbing and we'll click on Eddie and come to Eddie's page. Brilliant. Let's do another check. Axe DevTools again, it's my favourite tool. Oh, we've got 8 issues this time. We're getting more and more for every page we go to. But still, this is actually very, very low for a website. Many websites that you go to will have like in the hundreds and maybe to the thousands of issues. So we're doing fairly well at Linkfree. I don't want to say that we're perfect because we're never going to be perfect, but we're doing a fairly good job. Let's have a look then. The first one again is this menu bar, which is problematic on every page. Then the next one, elements must have sufficient color contrast. Okay, so actually the Twitter blue on the white is not a good enough color contrast. Neither is the YouTube red, and neither is the white on the grey. And again, the YouTube red. So some of these colors are problematic, and I know that we have an issue open on EddieHub, on the GitHub repo for these. If anyone would like to suggest how to make these work, because obviously we would like to keep the actual colors, but if anyone has any suggestions, we'd be more than happy with how to get these to work on our design. Links with the same name must have a similar purpose. Yes, it's bad practice to have several links or buttons that all say like click here or learn more, and here we've got 5 of them that all say learn more, learn more, learn more. So they should all have different names. And if you really must have learn more on every button, then a way to get around this for screen reader users is to include an extra text which is visibly hidden, and you can do that with a piece of CSS to hide like a span of text which might say learn more about how I started freelancing or learn more about how I started YouTube. So something to consider here in how we can make these better. And all page content should be contained by landmarks. Okay, let's have a look at this one. Let's have a quick look in the elements. Okay, yeah, we have the main content, which is contained by a main tag. We have the footer down here, but then we have this whole header and we have no header tag. So we must have it on previous pages because it didn't show up before. Maybe we can even go back to previous pages and have a quick look. Oh no, interesting, we don't even have it on. Okay, I think on previous pages the menu bar is inside the main. And that's interesting, because that really shouldn't be inside the main. So here's a little thing, a little issue for somebody. This menu bar should actually be in its own header on every single page, and so it needs to be wrapped in a header tag, and it needs, on a couple of the pages, it needs to be moved out from the main tag into a header tag. So there we go. So there we go, a few different issues that we have found on the Linkfree website today. Feel free to go to the repository and raise these issues or work on them if you would like to. Otherwise, I'll be working on them along with other people. Thank you so much for watching. If you're interested in me doing an accessibility review on your website, please do let me know. I'll leave a link for that in the description below as well, because you need to just drop your website link in a GitHub issue on my repository, which is part of a GitHub organization called Accessible for All. I'm trying to make accessibility knowledge more accessible for everybody, especially newcomers to tech. And so yeah, if you would like me to do a review, please do let me know by dropping your links there. That would be fantastic. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this has been useful to you. If you have any questions, do let me know. Otherwise, I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!